Good morning, students. Today we are going to start, that is, Murali sir till now he has completed, he started your syllabus. What is your syllabus? That is, he has started your carbohydrates, amino acids. Now he has, today he is going to start your lipids and enzymes. Enzymes also completed, lipids is there. Now, and he has also completed your cycles, that is Krebs cycle, glycolysis, Krebs cycle, transamination, deamination, glycosylate cycle, gluconeogenesis, all these he has completed. Now, today I am going to start your third unit, that is microbiology. The microbiology third and fourth units I am going to deal with. Now, coming to the microbiology, in this let us go for the outline classification of microorganisms. Before entering into that outline classification, what is the necessity of outline classification? What is the necessity of classification of the microorganisms? See, all of you know that microorganisms means these are, that is, our entire earth is filled with living organisms. All of you know that. Millions and billions of living organisms are present on the earth, occupying the earth. So, millions and billions of microorganisms or any living organism is present on the earth. And some of the organisms are very small that they are not visible to our naked eyes, but they are present. So, the organisms which are living on the earth we know, but some of the organisms, living organisms on this earth, they are not visible to our naked eyes. As they are not visible to our naked eyes, these organisms, they are maybe single celled, that is unicellular, or they may be multicellular, but they are not visible to our naked eyes. If they are small single celled, they are not visible to us. If they are a group of cells, they are also not visible to us. That means these are called as microorganisms. They are, though they are living organisms, they are living on the earth, surface of the earth, then they are not visible to our naked eyes. Though they are single celled or multicellular, though they are multicellular, they are not visible to our naked eyes. Then how can you say that they are living organisms? Because these living organisms, they can be seen only through microscope, first thing. Second one, these organisms, they can move here to here, they can move. Next, they can eat, they can feed on the substance. Third one is they can grow, that is single celled can convert into multicellular, or single spore can give rise to a daughter cell. That is, they can move, they can have food. Then third one is they can grow. Fourth one is they can withstand the environmental pressures, whether it is rainy, summer, or any peak summers, extreme climates, or winter, whatever it may be, rainy, winter, or summer seasons, whatever it may be, they can withstand the pressures of the environment, or they can withstand the environmental pressures. And fifth one is they can reproduce. They can reproduce. So, just like all the other living organisms, they can do all these things. That is, they can move, they can feed on, they can move, they can feed, they can grow, they can withstand to the environmental pressures, and last one is they can reproduce and give a birth to an young one. So, these are just like all the other living organisms, they are performing these functions, metabolic functions, or they are performing these metabolic activities, but they are not visible to our naked eyes. So, for the classification, that is how to classify this. Generally, the classification of living organisms was done by Carl Linnaeus. Carl Linnaeus, a scientist, Carl Linnaeus, a scientist, he has done, that is, he is a Latin scientist, or you can call it as he is a Swedish scientist. He is a Swedish scientist, he is a Sweden botanist, and this Swedish botanist in 1707 to 1778 up to here, he has classified the living organisms, and after classifying the living organisms, he has written a book called Nomenclaturia. And he has botanical nomenclaturia is the book he has written, and he has classified the living organisms very long back, that is in 1707 to 1778. but later he has classified only plants and animals, but he has not classified the microorganisms. Now the microorganisms were first time observed under a microscope by Louis Pasteur. All of you know that Louis Pasteur, under microscope, he has observed in the milk the microorganisms, and he is called as, Louis Pasteur is called as the father of microbiology. All of you must be knowing it very well. In your intermediate you must have studied it. Now in this what is this is, in this microorganisms, how they are classified. For the classification of microorganisms, generally the microorganisms are classified into plants and animals, or all the living organisms are classified into plants and animal kingdom, plant kingdom and animal kingdom. Now a scientist by name, see here, we will go for the, slowly we will enter into the classifications. First one is, we will see only two-way classification. Okay, two-way classification. What is two-way classification? See here, two-way classification means this was proposed by Aristotle. Aristotle in 4th century BC, he has classified the living organisms into two types, that is, so it is also known as a two-way classification. Okay, it is also known as a two-way classification. What is it? See here, living organisms, we will write like this. This also I will rub it off. Living organisms are classified into two types. They are, see here, Plantae, Animalia. Plantae and Animalia, this classification is known as a two-way classification. Okay, two-way classification, and this was demonstrated by Aristotle when 4th century. Okay, it will be okay for you. Now see here, in this, when he has classified the living organisms into Plantae and Animalia, he has kept all the animals in this Animalia kingdom. Now in this Plantae kingdom, this is kingdom, this is also kingdom. Now in this Plantae kingdom, what he has done is, he has kept plants, next bacteria, algae, fungi and protozoa. All these were kept under Plantae kingdom by Aristotle in 4th century, and all the animals in the Animalia kingdom. He has classified the living organisms in this manner, so it is called as a two-way classification. Is it okay, all of you? Now coming to the three-way classification. Sorry. What is three-way classification? See here, this three-way classification, this was given by another scientist known as Haeckel. Haeckel et al. In 1886, he has given this classification. Then what is the meaning of et al? Et al means his group or his co-workers or his research scholars or his students. Research scholars or students, they are one and the same. So his group, Haeckel and his group, in 1886, they have classified the living organisms into three groups, three kingdoms. Next, he is a German scientist. He is a German scientist. He classified, he was not satisfied with this thing, and he has classified the living organisms into three kingdoms. Why he is not satisfied with? Because the characteristics of plants, bacteria, algae, fungi and protozoa, they are not matching with each other. Plants have a different type of characteristic feature, bacteria, fungi, algae have different type of characteristic feature, and protozoans has entirely a different characteristic feature. Because of these characteristic differences, they are not matching with each other. He is not satisfied with that Aristotle's classification. He formulated a three kingdom classification. As he has classified the living organisms into three groups, that is three kingdoms, it is known as a three-way classification. And what he has done is, he has classified the living organisms into three groups. See here, Plantae, he has not changed it. Animalia, he has also not changed this one. And coming to the third one, it is known as Protista. Okay, it is known as a Protista. Protista is another classification, that is another kingdom he has coined. Now what he has done is, in Plantae he kept all the plants, in Animalia he kept all the animals, and next in Protista he kept bacteria, algae, fungi and protozoa. Okay, he kept bacteria, algae, fungi and protozoa in this Protista kingdom. Okay, he kept all the plants under plant kingdom, all the animals, and he kept all the animals under animal kingdom. And now in this Protista he kept four things. One is algae, fungi, bacteria and protozoa, or bacteria, algae, fungi and protozoa, all these were kept under this Protista kingdom. When he kept like this, he started working on these organisms. Slowly he started working on these organisms. When he was working on these organisms, he got a little bit of doubt. Why? Because all these organisms, they are not matching with each other. These organisms, they don't have the similar characteristic feature. All the plants have same type of characters, so they are kept under Plantae kingdom. All the animals have same type of characters, so they are kept under Animalia kingdom. But bacteria, algae, fungi, protozoa, all these four things, they do not have matching type of characteristics. They do not have same type of characteristic features. As they do not have same type of characteristic features, they cannot be placed in this Protista kingdom. He himself, Haeckel himself, he himself is not satisfied with his own classification. Ardhamaindamma? So Aristotle classified plant kingdom and animal kingdom, that is Plantae and Animalia. He kept plants, bacteria, algae, fungi and protozoa under plant kingdom and all the animals under animal kingdom. With this classification, as plants, bacteria, algae, fungi and protozoa, they do not have the same type of characters. So this Haeckel later on, in 1886, Haeckel and his co-workers, or Haeckel et al., in 1886, he was not satisfied with this two-way classification and he gave a three-way classification. In that, he classified the living organisms into three groups: Plantae, Animalia and Protista. All the plants come under plant kingdom, all the animals come under animal kingdom, and Protista, the bacteria, algae, fungi and protozoa, they were kept, he kept these organisms, living organisms under Protista kingdom. And slowly when he was working on these organisms, he was not satisfied with his own classification and he thought that all these organisms, living organisms that are under Protista kingdom Protista, they are not at all having the same type of characteristic features. So in Haeckel, in 1940, in 1886, in 1940, that means how many years later, student? 40 plus 86 means 14 years, is it or not? 40 plus 14, that is after 54 years, he gave another classification, and this classification is known as four-way classification. Okay, four-way classification. And this Haeckel, he has given four-way classification. In this four-way classification, living organisms were classified into 4. See here, Plantae, nobody have touched these, and Animalia, all plants come under this Plantae, all animals come under this Animalia. Now this is Protista, and he has given another one, that is Prokaryote. He has given another classification, another kingdom called Prokaryote. Next, Protista, Plantae and Animalia. These are the 4 kingdoms that were given by your Haeckel in 1940. That is the same scientist who gave 3-way classification. He has also given 4-way classification, because he is not satisfied with his 3-way classification. He is not satisfied with his own 3-way classification, and now he has started 4-way classification. And in this, what he has done is, under this he has kept algae, fungi, protozoa. Under Plantae, all the plants. Under Animalia, all the animals were kept. Now what about this Prokaryote? In this Prokaryote, he kept bacteria. He kept bacteria under this Prokaryote. Then see here, that means Prokaryote, at that time he gave a classification, that is Prokaryote. Instead he must have given another 2-way classification only, just like Aristotle. Instead of Plantae and Animalia, he must have given Prokaryote and Eukaryote. Is it or not? As we are aware of the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes, see here, the living organisms are classified into Prokaryote, Protista, Plantae and Animalia. Now why he has classified it? He has given a conclusion, or he has given discussion part. For this, why he has discussed his details. What is that? Is in Prokaryote, why he has classified this to 3-way into 4-way means, why he has nullifying his 3-way classification, or his own 3-way classification, and why he has given 4-way classification means, in this Prokaryote, he thought that the bacteria do not have a nuclear membrane. First thing, bacteria do not have nuclear membrane. Next one is, the other organelles are absent in bacteria, but in algae all the cell organelles are present, including mitochondria. If they are green algae, they consist of chloroplast, whatever it may be, cup shaped chloroplast or stellar chloroplast, whatever it may be, they consist of chloroplast, mitochondria, Golgi complex, lysosomes, next your endoplasmic reticulum, everything is present in this algae. Now coming to fungi, fungi also consists of a nuclear membrane. Some of the cell organelles are present in the fungi. Coming to the protozoa, example is Euglena, and in this protozoa it also consists of a nucleus, that is surrounded by a nuclear membrane, and all the cell organelles, eye spot, see, is it or not? It consists of eye spot is present, and it consists of all the cell organelles like your vacuoles, Golgi complex, and your mitochondria. All these are present in this protozoa. Example is your Euglena and Paramecium. Now in bacteria, the nuclear membrane is absent. All the cell organelles are absent. Next, they consist of a DNA that is floating in the cytoplasm. They consist of an extra chromosomal DNA, that is a plasmid, a double stranded circular extra chromosomal DNA is present in the bacterial cell. Not only that, they see here, I will draw here, this is your bacterial cell. It consists of a cell wall and a plasma membrane. See here, it consists of a cell, plasma membrane and a cell wall is present. Now they consist of its own DNA. They consist of circular double stranded DNA, that is known as plasmid, and it consists of ribosomes. Here and there they will be roaming, or sometimes these ribosomes are joined with each other, called as polysome, and some of the magnesium granules and volutin granules are present, freely floating in the cytoplasm. So see here, this is the structure of your bacterial cell. Already you have studied in your first semester. in detail the structure of bacterium you have studied in your that one, in your bacterial cell, that is in your first semester. I only dealt with this subject, that is structure of bacterium. Now in this everything is absent, all the cell organelles are absent except your DNA and your ribosomes are present. Along with that, an extra chromosomal double stranded circular DNA, that is known as plasmid or F factor, is present. Now see here, in this bacteria all the cell organelles are absent and your DNA is, or bacterial chromosome or nucleoid is not surrounded by your bacterial or your nuclear membrane. But here in algae, fungi and protozoa, they consist of nuclear membrane surrounding the nucleus. In plants the nucleus is surrounded by a nuclear membrane. In animals the nucleus is surrounded by a nuclear membrane, or your DNA is surrounded by a nuclear membrane. See here, this is your DNA, the nuclear membrane, a double stranded or a double membrane is present and it consists of chromosomes like this. Not only that, they consist of a nucleolus also. Is it or not? This is same for here and here also, and they too have a nuclear membrane with your DNA in these algae, fungi and protozoa. For that reason, they called divided the living organisms. They classified the he classified the living organisms into prokaryote, protista, plantae and animalia. Later he himself called it as this is prokaryote and this is eukaryote, this is eukaryote and this is also eukaryote. That means he himself called that the protista, plantae and animalia, all these three belong to eukaryotes and only the bacteria comes under, belongs to prokaryotes. Because of the non-availability of nuclear membrane, bacteria come under prokaryote classification, and all the cell organelles, because of the presence of nuclear membrane, and all the cell organelles that are surrounded by nucleus, that are surrounded by cell membranes, they come under eukaryotes. That is protista, plantae and animalia, all the three come under your eukaryotes. This is known as a four-way classification. So till now we have seen two-way classification given by Aristotle in 4th century. He classified them into plantae and animalia. Plants, bacteria, algae, fungi and protozoa come under plantae and all the animals come under animalia. Coming to the three-way classification given by Haeckel et al. In 1886, he classified the living organisms into protista, plantae and animalia. He has classified all the plants were kept under all the plants are placed under plantae, all the animals are placed under animalia, and all the bacteria, algae, fungi and protozoa, they are present under your protista. Next, he himself is not satisfied with his own classification and he formulated another classification called as a four-way classification in 1940, and the same Haeckel in 1940 he classified the living organisms into four groups, four kingdoms: prokaryote, protista, plantae and animalia. All the plants come under plantae kingdom, all the animals are under animalia kingdom, and all the bacteria are placed under prokaryote, and algae, fungi and protozoa, they are placed under protista. And he again called them as they can be called as a two-way classification only, because all the bacteria come under prokaryote and the others they come under eukaryote. Okay. Now coming to the last but not the least, it is most important, that is your five-way classification or five kingdom classification. Okay, see here, five kingdom classification. Coming to the five kingdom classification. What is five kingdom classification? Five kingdom classification was given by a scientist known as Whittaker. Whittaker in 1969, that means very recently in this century, after 29 years of Haeckel's four-way classification, till 29 years, that is from 1940 to 1969, This four-way classification was followed by the scientists throughout the world. But later on, Whittaker in 1969, he has given a 5-kingdom classification or 5-way classification for the living organisms, and from then onwards till now we are following this Whittaker's 5-kingdom classification. Then how he has classified? Here, based on the characteristic features, 3-way classification. Based on the presence of membranes, the 4-way classification, and based on the which thing he has classified. He has classified based on the nutrition of the organisms, based on the type of nutrition, how they are uptaking the nutrition, based on the uptake of the nutrition or the process of having food material. The microorganisms the living organisms are classified into 5 types. What are the 5 types of classifications? So let us see what are the different types of nutrition. One is ingestion. First one is ingestion. Second one is absorption. Third one is your photosynthesis. First, let us see what are these. Photosynthesis, all of you know that the plants and those organisms that have chloroplast, they undergo photosynthesis. That is, starch is produced as an end product, and this photosynthesis, it is taking place in the presence of sunlight. Next, carbon dioxide, water and chlorophyll will play an important role in the production of a reserve food material called as starch, and that process is called photosynthesis. And this photosynthesis is an anabolic reaction. What is anabolism? Respiration is catabolic reaction and photosynthesis is anabolic reaction. Both photosynthesis and respiration are called metabolic reactions. What is photosynthesis? Why it is called anabolism? That means small things, that is your carbon dioxide plus water plus chlorophyll plus your sunlight, all these are combined and they are giving rise to starch. What is starch? It is a polysaccharide, very large big substance is produced, reserve food material is produced. But in respiration, see here, but in respiration what you are doing is, in respiration large substance is classified, that is glucose, which is nothing but your starch, is converted into pyruvic acid, where carbon dioxide is released and glucose plus oxygen, it is releasing pyruvic acid and this one. That means it is a 6 carbon compound, it is converted into 3 carbon compounds like this. That means 6 carbon glucose is split into 3 carbon compounds. అంటే 6 carbon అంత పెద్దది 3 carbons లాగా split అయింది కాబట్టి it is known as an catabolic reaction. This is known as anabolic reaction. What is anabolic? Anabolic means ana, a, catabolic, CATABOLIC. Remember this C. A means add, C means cut. Okay, this anabolic reaction helps us to know this. Now see here, coming to the Whittaker's classification. Let us see Whittaker's classification. Now in this Whittaker's classification, what he has done is, he has taken this into first one, second, third, fourth, fifth. Plantae, Animalia, okay, all plants come under this, all animals come under this. Next, this is fungi, Protista, this is Monera. See here, Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae and Animalia, these are the 5 classifications. All the plants come under Plantae, all the animals come under Animalia. Now all the fungi come under this fungi classification. That means fungi has been given a special type of place in the kingdom, living organisms in the classification. Protista, already we know, protozoa, algae, see here, algae, protozoa, next మౌల్డ్స్, దట్ ఈజ్ రైజోపస్. అంటే రైజోపస్ అవి మౌల్డ్స్లోకి వస్తాయి కానీ అవి ఫంగైలోకి రావు. నౌ ఇన్ దిస్ హీ హ్యాస్ గివెన్ బ్యాక్టీరియా along with cyanobacteria. What is cyanobacteria? Nostoc, oscillatoria, they come under cyanobacteria. Now they consist of photosynthesis is their food material. Next they consist of photosynthesis and absorption. Okay, their food type is photosynthesis and absorption, and here algae have photosynthesis, protozoa have ingestion, and moulds have absorption. చూసారమ్మా, దీనికి బ్యాక్టీరియాకి ఫోటోసింథసిస్ అబ్జార్ప్షన్ ఉంది, ఇంజెక్షన్ లేదు. ఆల్గేకి ఫోటోసింథసిస్, ప్రోటోజోవాకి ఇంజెక్షన్, మౌల్డ్స్కి అబ్జార్ప్షన్. 3 types ఆఫ్ ఫుడ్ అప్టేక్ ఉంది, ఇంటేక్. ఇక్కడ ఫంగై ఓన్లీ అబ్జార్ప్షన్, fungi only absorption, and plants photosynthesis. Plants have photosynthesis, see here plants show photosynthesis, and animals show ingestion. That means animals have ingestion type of food material uptake, plants have photosynthetic type of food uptake, fungi have absorption type of food uptake, and protista have photosynthesis, ingestion and absorption, and bacteria have photosynthesis and absorption. Now this can be drawn like this. ఎగ్జామ్లో మీరు వేసినప్పుడు ఈ ఫిగర్ వేయాలి. జస్ట్ 1 minute I will be closing the class. See here, you have to give like this. This is your structure. What is the structure? See here, here Monera, here Protista. Next this is your fungi, or you can call it as 3 types, that is fungi, plantae, animalia. Here you can write this photosynthesis absorption, and ingestion, absorption, photosynthesis, ingestion. That means this is known as Whittaker's classification. And today what we have done, that is your outline classification of microorganisms. It is a 20 marks question, or it is your 12 marks question if it is not a COVID paper. And next one is Whittaker's classification is your 4 marks question. That is Whittaker's classification can be asked separately as short question, or entirely this outline classification of your microorganisms can be asked as your long question. So students, today we will stop here, and tomorrow we will continue with the next topic. Thank you students.